already, kids. So when I tell you I literally like just busted out my camera and started recording, like when I saw what I just saw, my jaw hit the floor. I literally like, oh my god. Oh my god. What are we talking about today? There is a school shooter on TikTok.
What? What the f?
And no, I know what you might be thinking. No, it's not the hyperstophiliacs. No, no, no. It's not a fan account. It's not some teenage girl like simping over a murderer, okay? No. There is a literal school shooter who served 17 years in jail after committing a school shooting on TikTok talking about his story. So I was just scrolling through TikTok, right? This video pops up on my For You page, and it's this girl, it's this lady. He's talking about how some dude popped up on her For You page, and why is there a school shooter on TikTok?
Our country is entirely too unserious and too laughable. What the fuck is going on? Why was I on TikTok and a school shooter got an account? Then this motherfucker got more followers than me. And I'm funny. Bitch, I'm not killing people. This man is a school shooter and he has a TikTok account.
I look it up. Guys. We got a doozy today. We got a doozy. So I am not going to say bro's name. I don't suggest you guys really go and try and look for him, because why do school shooters commit school shootings? Okay, why do they do what they do? School shooters do what they do for attention. They do it for attention. And when I tell you everything that's going on with what this is really sending me, because long story short, this guy on TikTok, he committed a school shooting back in 2004. Nobody died, thankfully. He didn't kill anyone. He served 17 years in jail, right? But he did shoot someone, and he did like commit a school don't get me wrong, like he still committed a school shooting, okay? He brought a gun into school and he shot around and he shot somebody, okay? But he didn't kill anyone, so I'm guessing that's why he got out or whatever. But he served 17 years, he got out, and now he's on TikTok. He's on TikTok talking about his story and advocating for mental health services and stricter gun laws. I really feel like it's insane that I even have to explain why this isn't okay and why this man does not deserve a platform, but I will, because I can't, if you can't tell, I'm very mad, because this is really insane to me. As somebody into true crime who has seen a plethora of school shooters, and like from all different, not all different backgrounds, because we all know the demographic of most school shooters, but when I tell you this man like pisses me off so much, because in his videos, right, he's literally just like talking about his story, number one, and number two, he's advocating, right, for stricter gun laws and better mental health services. And he's basically, like, his whole thing is that he wants to prevent other people from doing what he did. So I go on his page, right, and mind you, I'm really not trying to look at all these videos because, like I said, school shooters do what they do for attention. Why would I want to give him another view, right? But I was like, there's no way. Like, somebody needs to start talking about this, because how is TikTok allowing someone like this to have a platform? There's no way. So in the first video that I watched from him, one of his most popular videos, I'm pretty sure, he's basically saying, he was responding to a comment. Wait, let me pull it up because I have my phone right here. He's responding to a comment that says, "Why is there an admitted school shooter on TikTok right now? OMG," right? Because that's what we're all thinking. What? There's no way. And basically he says it's because he wants to help prevent future school shootings. I will be the first one to say that we do not need you to do that. We don't need you to do that. Like I said, school shooters do what they do for attention. So for a school shooter to get TikTok, make a platform for himself, bolster himself up, and talk about what he did as though it's some kind of distant memory, and like how, what he did was wrong, and no. It's not necessary and it's not needed, because there's nothing that this man could tell any of us that is new or needed information that we need to hear from him, okay? There's nothing new that he could share with us, which there's nothing new on his page that he is sharing with us. Everything I'm telling to you right now, even if it's summarized, that's essentially like what he's saying. Like, he's saying the most basic stuff. You know, we need stricter gun laws. We need better mental health services. He said he's working with law enforcement on like this whole like thing that he's doing, right? And it's just sending me, because it's like, you don't deserve to come on TikTok and share your story and say that you're better now and that you want to help and prevent these like other school shootings from happening. You don't deserve that, because you committed a school shooting, okay? You do not deserve a platform, and you don't deserve attention, because what you did is so wrong and vile and just like traumatizing. It's awful. So in another one of his videos, right, he like said exactly why he did it. He said, I wanted to traumatize like my peers. I wanted to like make them hurt as much as I was hurting. You know, the classic school shooter kind of stuff. Okay, I wanted to make my classmates hurt as much as I was hurting. I wanted them to feel the pain that I was in, and I wanted to kill myself. And what is that? What is that? He wanted to traumatize his classmates. He wanted attention, okay?
For those who don't know, when I was just 16 years old, I went into my high school with a gun. My intent was not to kill, but to die in front of other people. And I knew that I'd be traumatizing them, which I did. I wanted to share my pain with others, and I regret it more than anything, but I want people to know what happened that day.
He went in there with, even though he, like he said, he didn't go in there with the intent to kill or whatever, but he went into school with a gun and he shot at people and he shot around, and oh my God, I can't. So in his video, he basically is saying like, you know, I did what I did because I wanted to traumatize my classmates, right? I wanted them to feel how I was feeling. I wanted them to hurt as much as I was hurting. That is just like, that's disgusting. That is vile and that's disgusting, because on the one hand, it's like, yeah, we need better mental health services and it never should have gotten to that point. But on the other hand, what you did was indescribable and unexcusable. I don't care. Like, let me say this. After someone decides that they want to end their life, right? Obviously, we should all flock to them and say, you know, hey, no, like, we need to help this person. But the second that you decide that because you're hurting so bad, it's so selfish, you're hurting so bad that you want, and you're blaming other people, which I don't know what his situation was. I don't know, like, what he did, because, like I said, I literally busted out the camera after I saw this, right? But whatever his situation was, after he decided that he was going to bring a gun into school, and after he did that, all of my sympathy is gone. All of my sympathy and empathy is gone for this man, because after you made that choice, you lost me. You lost me, and you lost the rest of us. Because that is selfish, it's disgusting, and it's attention seeking. It's attention seeking, okay? And honestly, like, whatever he went through beforehand that got him to this point, obviously that matters. But after he reached the point where he is in school with I think he said he had a shotgun. After he's in school with a shotgun and he's shooting at people and he's doing it purposefully to traumatize his classmates, innocent people, or I don't care, I don't know if he was bullied or what, but there are innocent people in that school building, and those are innocent freaking kids.
So, Editor Swat Cop here, I just wanted to add that when he decided that his pain was more important than other people's lives, innocent people's lives, that to me is just the most selfish, disgusting thing that a person can do. Because literally everybody is struggling with something. There's so many people, and I hate to say this, but like there's so many people that are worse off, and so many people that are just struggling with so many different things that don't do this. And I feel like that's the most important thing to say, because it's like you could be struggling, but other people don't do this, and that just shows that you made a choice and you made a decision to do what you did, and I cannot sympathize with that in any way, shape, or form.
And he did it purposefully to traumatize them and to say, hey, look at me. You have to look at me now. You can't ignore me anymore. That's what he did it for. And for TikTok to allow him to have a platform just giving him more of what he wanted to begin with, you don't deserve that. You don't deserve that. He doesn't deserve attention. He doesn't deserve that. I don't know how bro even got out of jail, because I don't care if he didn't kill anyone or anything. Like, if you committed a school shooting, there was something seriously wrong with you, and we need to nip it in the bud. This is honestly just like showing how just far we've fallen as a country, to where we have literal school shooters on TikTok. Okay? So, I mean, I have my points here, because I wanted to kind of keep this concise, because I really am upset about this. But so we're gonna keep it moving, because we might be here for a while if I keep chatting.
Bro, I'm literally like D1 yapper for real.
The next thing. So, this guy, right, like I said, school shooter on TikTok, right? Tell me why. Which, I mean, it's like, I can't be surprised, but at the same time, I'm just like I said, I'm just disgusted by this entire situation, right? And the fact that any of this is even like being allowed. But another TikToker, who, once again, I am not going to name, interviewed him.
Literally like Fresh and Fit style freaking interview. Like, think your most basic cliche TikTok interview. That was what he was on.
So we're going to talk about the interview in a second, but I wanted to say, in other countries, when mass shootings are committed, right, they blacklist these people. And what I mean by that is the media are not allowed to publish their names, to publish their faces, because we know that they do it for attention. If you don't want this to happen again, if you don't want somebody to see that, like, someone on the news getting all of this attention and all this praise, because like I said, I mean, we have crazy people out there, hypersyphiliacs, who will look at this and be like, oh my goodness, like, so if you don't want people to look at the news or whatever and see these people and like admire them or whatever, and then in turn commit their own mass shooting to get that, you block out their names, you block out their faces, because they don't deserve attention. They don't deserve the attention that they're so desperately fishing for, and this man doesn't deserve the attention he's fishing for. But that's the problem in America. We don't do that. When someone commits a mass shooting, the first thing that happens, the media is all over it. Their face is everywhere, their name is everywhere. I mean, don't even get me started on the freaking shooters that write manifestos and people actually sit and read that and publish it and think deeply about it. Because, oh my god, there's so many school shooters and just mass shooters that will write a manifesto and like try and sound like all deep or whatever, like they're so introspective, when they're really just stupid and selfish and attention seeking. Like, they're literally just dumb. Okay, they're just dumb, but people will read their manifestos and actually like sit there and be like, oh my god, they're so deep. No, back to the interview. So this TikToker, he did an interview interviewing this man, and he basically is sitting here like, you know, TikToker podcast style interview, right, asking him to describe the day he was arrested. So the first thing I want to say is this interview, right? The entire tone of this interview is, oh, pity me, okay? The entire tone of this interview is, you know, this is what happened, you know, I'm so sorry, this is, and it's so, like, just, oh, pity me, okay? And the guy interviewing him, I mean, he is feeding right into this, right? That's what he wants. He's feeding into this for the content, for the views, because he knows when he puts the title, school shooter, interviewing a school shooter, he's gonna get a bunch of clicks, okay? So, a couple, like, key points in this interview that I wanna talk about. He talks about, like, his arrest or whatever, and how, like, immediately afterwards he didn't regret it, how it was like an out-of-body experience for him. And I mean, the way I'm saying it is, I mean, I'm pissed, right? But the way he's saying it is, like I said, oh, pity me. It was, I don't know, I was just like, it was an out-of-body experience. I wasn't even really there.
What's going through your mind when you're placed into the cop car and on your way to the police station or wherever they're taking you? Are you instantly regretting your decision?
No, I'll be honest, I did not. During the shooting and after the shooting, I was so disconnected. I was numb. I was, you know, I hate to use the word or the phrase, out-of-body experience, but it was like I wasn't even there. I was just kind of witnessing it rather than participating.
He said that when he was arrested, right? This this part absolutely blows me, because in the interview, right? The interviewer guy asks him, how did the officers treat you when you were arrested, right? And he was like, they broke my glasses, they roughed me up a bit, I had like my nose bleeding or something, I don't know. And the way he says that, like, he was honestly like, he felt so much more emotion and just like pity for himself. Like, you could tell he is feeling so much self-pity in this interview.
How are the officers treating you at the station, and what's the booking process like for you?
Yeah, so when the police did show up and when they put me in cuffs and everything, they roughed me up a little bit. I had a bloody nose, they broke my glasses and everything. And so when I got to the police station, though, what they did was they isolated me with only one officer who would be the one to then basically interrogate me. And he started to put on the good cop show, right? Oh, I'm sorry about, the nose and everything here. Let's help clean you up. Do you need anything to drink?
He said that in New York at the time, he was allowed to waive his rights away, which is another thing that he was upset about, which, like I said, you could tell in the interview, like, he's upset that he was allowed to waive his rights, like that was going to make a difference. I'm not saying that he should have been allowed to, but it's like the interview is so tone deaf. It's so tone deaf. We are in a time right now where school shootings and mass shootings are happening every day. Every day a mass shooting is happening, okay? I'm telling you right now, I could look up online, mass shooting today, right? And I would find one, or two, or three, right? And the fact that this interview I just looked came out a month ago, it came out October 8th, right, of this year. The amount of tone deafness that this interview has is disgusting, okay? Continuing, he said that he had a hired attorney. So he didn't have a public defender, he had a hired attorney, right? He said that he was made to sign his life away. So when he was in the interrogation room, whatever, the officer basically wrote out a statement for him and like read it to him and asked him to sign it, and he did. And he said that he signed his life away. He's like, I don't know, upset about this or whatever, right? And he basically said that he signed his life away. His life away. He served 17 years. He served 17 years. This man is no more, I mean, he said he was 16 when it happened. So what? He's no more than 30? 31? Your life. Right. And he has a TikTok account right now. Yeah, you signed your life away. Definitely. Definitely.
And I'm not trying to diminish, like, how long or how it feels to, like, spend years in prison. But, like, dog literally, like, he missed his 20s, okay? He's literally, what, like, 33? He did this when he was 16. He's like 33 right now. Like, he still has a whole freaking life ahead of him. And he literally has a TikTok account. Like, yeah, you definitely signed your life away. Definitely. Like, we have people that are innocent in jail that only, like, when they're, like, 60, 70 years old, freaking served, like, 50 years in jail, do we find out that they were actually innocent and they're released. Those people lost their freaking lives, okay? Like, this man, he has such a victim complex. Like, oh, my God.
He said that he wasn't allowed a phone call, right? So he wasn't allowed to talk to his hired attorney after he was in jail, or like call his mom or whatever. He said, oh, like I'm reading my notes right now, and so throughout the entire time that like I'm looking through this or whatever, right? And he's talking about like what he did and all this stuff, right? Not once does he show any kind of like remorse. So, like I said, right, throughout his whole TikTok, right, he's talking about, like, what he did, like, why he did it, and all this stuff, and not once does he stop and, like, reflect, like, the emotion, there's no remorse that's being, like, conveyed. He is, like, he's not conveying remorse, okay? Throughout all of the videos that I've seen, it's very, oh, pity me, oh, like, I should have had better mental health services. I should have, like, this should have never happened. People should have, like, helped me before I got to this point, and whatever else, right? He shows no remorse. He's sitting here pitying himself. That's what literally most of his videos really are, okay? Sure, he's advocating for stricter gun laws and like better mental health services or whatever, but at the end of the day, his tone and his whole like everything is oh pity me. But in this interview, when he starts talking about his mom finding out what he did, he starts to cry. Like the only time we've seen this man show any kind of like remorse or like just sadness about what he did or anything is in the only time we see this throughout the entire interview and throughout like his TikTok is when his mom finds out, or when his mom found out about what he did.
They took me to an office and allowed to call my mother, and of course my mom was just in tears.
I'm sure she had seen the news, so she knew.
Yeah, my mother had been at work when the shooting happened, and she ended up, people start saying like, hey, there's this talk on the radio. And yeah, so my mother found out while she was at work. I remember the first visit I had with my family was, I think the next day, my family was able to come and...
Guys, I'm editing this right now, and Joe, oh my God, that sigh. When I tell you I saw red when he did that. There's no way.
My mother had never abused me before, but she told me, she's like, I want to hug you, but I also want to hit you. And that said a lot, that my mother was somebody who is a very loving person, but the anger in her, was obviously beyond belief for what I had done.
Now let's see how he refers to his victims at his sentencing.
I took a plea for a 20-year sentence, and I pled guilty to 3 counts of attempted murder and 6 counts of reckless endangerment.
What is the sentencing hearing like? Are there a lot of victims speaking? Do you make a statement? Are your parents there? Is your mom there?
So the sentencing was filled with a lot of my family, friends, and also a lot of the people who had been hurt.
This is what I really wanted to emphasize here. Like, he doesn't refer to his victims as victims. He refers to them as the people that were hurt. I mean, he doesn't even acknowledge the fact that he was the one that hurt them. He doesn't say the people that I hurt. He says the people that were hurt. And the reason he doesn't refer to them as victims is because he sees himself as a victim. He sees himself as a victim of the cops, of the system. He feels like he is the victim in the situation. So he doesn't see his victims as victims. He sees himself as a victim because this is all about him, right? He said that he didn't want to have a trial because he thought it would be a media circus, which is the only point he's correct on. It would have been a media circus because the United States is obsessed with mass killers. I don't know why, what it is. They're not fascinating. They're not cunning. They're not clever. They're not interesting. They are literally like the most vile, disgusting people and the most selfish and just like embarrassing people. Because imagine being so caught up in your own feelings, being so upset and so like just in your own like whatever, that you enact violence onto other people in such a destructive and just chaotic, awful way. It just like, it sends me. It really truly does. I mean, like, as a country, no other country does it quite like America, huh? I mean, we put mass shooters on pedestals. We make them these big famous people. I mean, like, damn near celebrities, for real. I mean, like, they have fans, they have people sending them mail, gifts, money, all this stuff. Because as America, we just can't seem to agree and decide that this can't go on anymore. It's like, when will we decide that we've had enough, for real? I mean, like, I really do not like to get political on this channel, and I'm going to talk about in a little bit why I'm so passionate about this, which, I mean, I feel like all of us really should be, but there's a pretty good reason as to why I'm personally so passionate about this. But He said that he didn't want to have a trial because he thought it would be a media circus, and so he pled guilty to what he did because, I mean, like I said, we know you did it, right? There's no question about that, right? And he went to jail. He said that he was facing 75 years, and if he got convicted of that, then he would have to serve at least 65 or something like that. But he only ended up serving 17 years. And then he got out and was able to make a TikTok account and talk about what he did. And is talking about what he did. I'm not sure if he's making money off of this. I'm not sure if he's doing this for charity. He has, I mean, like I said, I have not sat and gone through every video on his account because I really just don't want to. But he was able to commit a school shooting, get out in 17 years, is still young, and make a TikTok account. I mean, like, can we all just take a moment to just take in how absolutely ridiculous that is? Why was a literal school shooter allowed to make and have a TikTok account? And honestly, if you want to go try and find this account, you can, but I mean, there's no point. His comments are off, right? So you can't leave a comment or anything. Like, he's not accepting criticism, okay? He doesn't want to hear that, right? And I saw some other stuff on TikTok about him that I'm not sure if it's true or not, so I'm not going to say it. But this guy just does not seem like he's not remorseful, and he really just, he.
Have you ever had a dream that you
He's not remorseful at all, it seems, and I'm not sure if he's doing this for money. But what I am sure is that he's definitely doing this for attention, because if anything, the fact that the platform that he chose was TikTok of all platforms speaks volumes. It speaks volumes. And honestly, as a country, I mean, we really have, we have devolved into madness. This is madness. This is insane. Like, a school shooter on TikTok. Where else could you find that but America? Now, why am I so passionate about this? Why am I so passionate about this? Well, unfortunately, I know I'm whatever, I'm fine now. But unfortunately, last year, I very much lived through a school shooting. I was very much, scared for my life and dead ass running from gunshots, okay? I was running from gunshots. I had to freaking hide under a table and sit there under a table after running inside and telling, oh my God, bro. Actually, you know what? We are going to have a quick story time because I haven't talked about this. And I don't think anyone really has, right? Because, I mean, nobody died, thank God, right? Nobody died, thank God. But the entire situation that happened was absolutely insane. So, you know what? I think I will share my story because, I mean, what? You never think it will happen to you. You never think it will happen to you. But now here I am, right? So last year I was in 10th grade. I was a sophomore in high school. And my school is ghetto. It's plain and simple. It's ghetto, okay? My school is in the hood, and these kids don't know how to act. So last year, sophomore year, right? A little bit of context. My school is in the hood. It's in the hood. So these kids, they don't know how to act. They don't nobody cares, right? Because it's in the hood, like I said, nobody cares. And these kids, they don't care. So it was right after first period. So my school has two buildings. So there's the main building and there's the annex, right? So the annex has the VPA classes, which is why I'm in the school to begin with, right? I'm there for the VPA, which is the Visual Performing Arts program, right? It's the arts program at the school, and that's why anybody comes to that school, and that's really where the money comes from, for real. But the annex is where most of the VPA classes are, and the main building is the regular classes or whatever. There's an auditorium, but that's irrelevant for the story. So after first period, me and my two friends were walking to the second building. And to walk to the second building, right, there's this road, basically, that connects the two buildings. But, okay, so I'm trying to, help you guys visualize it. It's the main building, then there's, the football field, and then the annex, right? And so the football field, that's where the bleachers are and that stuff. And there's like a pathway that you're supposed to walk on to get to like the annex, right? You're not supposed to walk on the road because sure, it's on campus, so it's not like traffic or anything is like coming through these roads, but like it's still a road. Like, I mean, don't even get me started with student drivers. I swear, those are different stories for different days. But this, like, the pathway that we were meant to walk on was locked up because people would skip like on the bleachers or whatever. People wouldn't go to class and they would just hang out in the bleachers or whatever. So like we lost the privilege to walk on the sidewalk. I don't know. Like, I don't really know what the administrators at my school think. They don't think. We're walking on this road, right, to the second building for second period, right, which is my VPN classes. Yay! So we're walking, and as we're walking, we see this massive group of students, right? And so we're used to this, okay? We already know something's about to pop off, and we're not trying to be there to see what happens. So as we walk through this group of students, weaving through, because, I mean, it's odd. The way that this group looks is odd, okay? It's not like it's just like, oh, a lot of people. No, like, you know when something is wrong, okay? And so I look out in the distance, right? So next to our school is like a church and like this big parking lot for the church or whatever, right? And I look out towards this parking lot and I see these like two or three boys just walking up, right? From outside of our school, right? They're just walking up. And I'm like, okay, guys, yeah, we gotta keep moving. And we all look at each other. The three of us like are looking at each other like, yeah, we need to keep moving and we need to go, okay? Because whatever's about to happen, we don't want to be here when it happens, right? And so not even a minute later, we're still outside walking. Not even a minute later, we start hearing gunshots, okay? We hear like, bah, 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 right? And so I turn and I look and I literally see my friends, people I know, right? Running for their lives, tripping over themselves, running. And so we run into the building, right? Because we're a little bit ahead. We run into the building and we're like, oh my God, they're shooting out there. We're telling the administrators, we're telling the other people in the hallway, like, oh my God, they're shooting out there. Guys, like, this isn't a joke. This isn't a drill. Like, we need to go, okay? I don't know if you heard it, but we need to go, right? And so our school is placed on lockdown for the entire day. Like I said, this happened right after first period. So we were on lockdown, I want to say from like 10 to 3 o'clock, 3:10. Yeah, we were there from 10 o'clock a.m. to 3:10 p.m., right? And I mean, it was, oh my God, it was chaos, okay? So for this entire time, we're huddled under desks because we don't know what's going on. We just know somebody was shooting, somebody got shot, okay? Somebody got shot, and we're just sitting under these desks, like just sitting in the dark, right? And we hear like the police sirens outside. We hear the freaking news helicopter hovering over the school because, like I said, they're always there. They're always there, right? And so we sit under there for 8 hours. 8 hours. Right after like everything was finished, I mean, parents were coming to the school. It was oh my God, it was insane. Parents were coming to the school demanding their children be let out. Parents were coming. I mean, it was chaos. It was absolute chaos. Our administration, like I said, they are trash, okay? They're straight dog water. They don't know what they're doing, okay? And they were scrambling. I mean, police were freaking like keeping parents out while also not telling them like what's going on. Eventually, we're finally let out, and guess what? We walk right back up that road where literally everything happened at. We walk right back up that road to get on our buses and to go home. And the next day, a lot of people, of course, obviously, freaking didn't go to school because, I mean, I can talk about it now because it's been some time, but at the time, like, I mean, I didn't really think I was super affected by it until maybe like a month or so later when I kind of like thought about it and I was like, damn, that happened, right? It was very stressful, to say the least. It was very stressful. And the school's response to someone literally getting shot on the campus, on our school grounds, and thank God no one died because, I mean, the kid that was shooting, I mean, they were both freshmen, number one, that was in the fight or whatever. But the kid that was shooting, I mean, he was not aiming. He was shooting wildly. And like I said, there was a massive group of people here waiting for this fight. Like, this was a planned event or whatever. So there was a lot of people that could have got hurt. And God, only one kid got shot and he didn't die. He got shot like twice in like the arm and like the hand or something, I don't know. And he did not die, thank goodness. But it could have been a whole lot worse. And our administration's response was to literally bring in a bunch of criminals, yes, criminals, an assembly basically, talking about kind of like just talking about gun violence and then also like suicide prevention and just a bunch of random stuff. But I'm telling you, like, they literally brought in like a bunch of criminals, and I mean criminals, like they freaking, one of the dudes came on, like they were on stage and they were like, so I served 20 years for murder. We're looking at them like, oh my God, what the actual, because they have freaking literal like murderers on stage talking to us, people that have committed murder, attempted murder, and only one lady who actually like was shot, and like telling her story about how she got shot and how she had to recover and all this stuff, right? The only person that honestly deserved to be on that stage. It was so ridiculous. I mean, they were throwing t-shirts around, they were giving out gift cards, like it was fun and funny, okay? And they also had like hosted this town hall basically where they called for like the parents to come and like talk to, you know, the principal, I want to say like the police chief of the county, and like just two other randoms, I don't know. And the way that they were doing that was basically you write down like your question or whatever, give it to like this like prompter basically, and she'll read the question that you wrote, and have them answer it. The only problem was she was not reading the questions as they were written. No, she was there to, I guess, keep the peace and keep control, which, I mean, it was honestly kind of sad, the turnout of this town hall. Not a lot of parents even showed up, and I want to say me and my friend were like one of the only maybe 5 students that showed up. But seeing this, people were getting like absolutely pissed off, and they started just yelling out their answers. So like, no, you're gonna answer my question and you're gonna hear it how I say it, right? And so I ended up standing up and I ended up being like, because they were straight up like lying to our faces, saying, you know, we're gonna have clear book bags, we're gonna do this and this and this, we're gonna enforce this and this and this. Bro, they've been saying this since like COVID, okay? They've been saying this since since my 9th grade year, okay? They've been saying this my entire high school career. They've been saying they're going to enforce clear book bags, hoodies, all this stuff. Like, that's going to make a difference, right? Like, that's going to make a difference. But they've been saying this whole time, and we literally hear this same presentation that they were giving, basically, like, word for word at our, like, code of conduct assemblies. So I stand up, and I'm like, y'all are tripping right now, because don't try and lie and say that you're going to do these things and that these things are actually going to help when we all know that you're not. So I called them out or whatever. Honestly, I wish I was a little more graceful with it. I was a little emotional with it. But like I said, like I feel like in that moment, really, I realized that I really was affected by it. Like, running from gunshots and running from your life, it's a harrowing experience, okay? It really is. And it's a sobering one. So in that moment, I feel like I really realized when the emotions were kind of coming out of me as I'm saying these things, and I'm damn near yelling at our principal and yelling at the police chief. So I called them out. I was like, y'all are seriously trolling us right now. I didn't say it like that. I was a lot more eloquent in my words, but aggressive in my delivery, okay? I was like, you know, you guys aren't doing any of this. Like, what are you actually going to do to keep this from happening again? Because from my point of view, they aren't doing anything. They won't do anything. And nothing happened. Nothing happened. So they said that they were going to do these things. And they did for about 2 weeks until, of course, they got lazy. Because our administration is lazy. And so to kind of bring this back to the school shooter guy on TikTok, I feel like a lot of the time we see like school shootings and we're like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. This can never happen again. I can't believe this happened. That would never happen to me though. Or this can't happen again. Like, we really should do something about it. But then we don't, right? But then we don't. We forget. As Americans, we really, and just as a society in general, nowadays, we forget so fast, okay? We forget the pain, we forget the trauma, and we move on. And then it happens again. And then we move on. And then it happens again. And then we move on. And, I mean, if you watch my back to school vlog this year, I mean, you can see the aftermath. now we have to go through goddamn TSA to get into school, okay? Like, we have to go through these security enhancement devices, which you saw if you watched my first day of school vlog, you would know, like, going into school this year was, I mean, it was re-traumatizing. I mean, we were literally, like, made to freaking, like, you know, take out our stuff, go back and forth through these metal detectors until or security enhancement devices, excuse me. They're not metal detectors. Go back and forth through these security enhancement devices. I watched my friend get wanded down, right? After, like, they, like, beeped or whatever. And then, like I said, like, these security enhancement devices, I don't know, like, how they found this company or what. I mean, I looked into it. I really don't know. This company, they're new, so I don't know. But I literally watched my friend get wanded down. I had to freaking walk back and forth through, like, going through security. I'm hearing, like, security is yelling at people to go through these security enhancement devices or whatever. Like, it was the most stressful, just anxiety-inducing thing ever, because it's like, I swear we never really talk about what is it like to go to a school where a school shooting happened, okay? Like, we hear about the aftermath, we hear about the victims, we hear about the freaking killers, okay? But we don't talk about or hear about the kids that go to school after that happened. What is it like to go to a school where a school shooting happened? And that experience in itself is, I mean, it's re-traumatizing. It's scary. It makes you anxious. It makes you feel unsafe. My high school experience has been insane. My 9th grade year, I'm watching as all of our, like, kind of little privileges are getting taken away. Like, you know, we can't eat in the courtyard anymore. We can't do da-da-da, whatever. Like, as our little privileges are being taken away. And then until we have, like, none of them anymore. And then my 10th grade year, I go through one school shooting and then one shooting that happened directly outside of our, like, campus, like, right there or whatever. Like I said, there were 2 shootings that year. It was freaking wild. And now this year, going through metal detectors and having to, like, watch my friend get wanded down, watching people, like, just stressed and just, like, scared. I mean, watch my friends literally go through, like, some terrible freaking, like, anxiety and panic attacks about what's going on and what might happen again, right? And just, like, thinking, like, man, it damn well sure could happen again. Honestly, it's just, I mean, it's even just disappointing because, like I said, like, our security, they are a bunch of lazy bums. They do not do their job, so they don't even really force us to go through the security enhancement devices anymore. They, like, in the morning, you have to go through them, and they'll have you go through them a couple times over, right? But then they were getting lax with it, and then I heard, and then, like, a couple days ago, they started getting, like, you know, back on their stuff, and, like, you know, actually having people, like, walk through these devices again, like, properly, because they were just passing people through. It beeped, they don't care, they're passing people through, and they still do that, like, throughout the day, but in the morning, they would have people actually, like, go through. But if it beeped a couple times and whatever, they would just pass you through. They don't care. They don't care, right? But I heard, like, somebody had brought a taser. Yeah, somebody was able to bring a taser into school, and they have found out or something, and that's why they had, like, gotten back on their game. But it's not going to last because, like I said, the security at my school is lazy, and, I mean, they're incompetent for it.
No, because the way I'm straight dogging on the faculty at this school is honestly kind of wild. But, like, seriously, though, the security is lazy, the administration is incompetent, the students are out of control, and the teachers are tired. Like, nobody's happy here.
The security was literally, like, asking each other how to use the devices, okay? And so, bringing this back, like I said, like, the fact that a school shooter is able to have a platform on TikTok it's just disgusting. It's disgusting. And to the people that say, oh, he's reformed, oh, he's a changed man, I don't care. I don't care. As a school shooter, you are the last person that deserves a voice in this conversation. You don't deserve a voice. You are the problem. I mean, in one of his videos, bro, he literally said, you know, I'm here trying to, like, offer, like, my unique perspective. Your perspective isn't unique. That's the problem, bro. That is the problem. The fact that your perspective actually isn't that, it's not that uncommon, okay? School shootings and mass shootings actually happen every day. I don't know if you were aware of that, but your experience isn't even uncommon. There's nothing that you could tell us or say to us that would be new information. We don't need or want you to talk about this. No one is asking for this. I'm trying to figure out the audience for this, because honestly, at this point, it seems like it's just a bunch of like trolls at this point. But like I said, his comments aren't on, so obviously he's not willing to hear criticism or anything, about what he's doing. But it really is just, it's horrible, man. It really is. And I mean, I can only imagine what it'll be like in the near future when I graduate, and just thinking about the future. Like, would I want to have kids in this country? Hell no. Would I want to send my kids to school in this country? No way. Because I would be terrified that they're not going to come home. Because it's a very real possibility that you might send your child to school one day and then they don't come back. Like, can you just imagine, as a parent, you send your kid to school to learn and to grow, and they don't come home because some selfish prick decided that their pain was worth your child's life? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that, for real? I mean, it's awful just to think about. It really is. And the effect that this kind of action, this kind of decision has on not just the victims, but the community as a whole. I mean, like I said, imagine going to a school where a school shooting happened. I mean, my school, like I said, it's ghetto, it's black, nobody cares about us, right? So my experience is slightly different from the experience of someone who went through something like Uvalde or some of the other shootings that have happened. But I think that the message is the same. No one's going to do anything anytime soon. Being a student at a school where a school shooting happened is unreal. It really is. And I wonder, for other students, if other students or other people that have been through something like this, or have been through a school shooting or mass shooting or whatever, I implore, I really would like to hear your story as well, because, like I said, we hear a lot about victims, we hear a lot about the perpetrators of these crimes, but for the people that have to go to school after that happened, what was it like for you? Okay. Well, I think in my last video I said that I'm not sure if I'll post this video before or after the body cam video that I filmed, because I filmed a body cam video like yesterday, because I did not expect to film this video at all. But I'm not sure when this one's gonna come out, if it's gonna come out before or after, because I was gonna do a different case, but this one just I had to talk about it. So I'll see you guys next time. Swak up out.